Hello, welcome back to another episode of Somewhere Between a Film and TV podcast. We're your hosts. I am Daniel Parr.
And I'm Erwin Trejo.
And number one, thank you so much for listening and watching. Number two, what are they going to do?
They're going to like, comment, and subscribe.
Please do. Erwin, everything we review will always have full spoilers.
I try not to spoil anything.
But I mean, that's how we review things.
Yeah, that's also true.
And here's a spoiler for you. What are we reviewing?
Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3. What's his name? Jeff Fowler? Jeff Fowler.
His name is Sonic, dude.
No. What's Sonic's government name?
I think it's just Sonic.
I'm going to complain about something that has nothing to do with this movie in a second. But before we get into that, Erwin, with this, did you love it? Did you hate it? Or are you somewhere between?
I'm somewhere between.
Okay.
I would say, based off my score. But I really enjoyed it, though, too.
So that's a positive, somewhere between.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say, yes.
I didn't think I was going to say this. I want to preface this by saying, because I want us to get into our thoughts. I don't think we've ever reviewed one of these. I like the first one.
Oh, we haven't?
No, never.
Oh, okay.
I like the first one.
Yeah.
I like the second one.
Yeah.
I think this is a great movie. I thought that this was really well done, and it took me completely by surprise. I saw the reviews for this in advance, and I was like, that's crazy, because the first two have good ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. They're at like 72%, 65%.
I also... Wait, no. What are my thoughts on the first two? I think the first two I think they have like the same opinion. I for sure think the movies get better.
They do absolutely
because
get better as they go along.
The third one is definitely my favorite one out of all three.
Yeah.
And they definitely get better each time. But overall, I feel the same way about these movies. And it's just because of like the way... I guess we can talk about like the way we talk about, or like our feelings about Sonic. Like
just generally speaking?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we do have to preface by like the types of, I guess, fans or not fans we are of this franchise.
Yeah, because I'm not really a fan of Sonic. Like, I like Sonic. I've seen Sonic, and I've played some games. I can't think of like some of the GameCube ones, because I know my dad had a GameCube for it too. Game Boy as well. And then whenever like the Wii happened as well. And then like I've seen like the animated show.
Which one?
Just the Tubi one you talked about earlier.
Oh, okay, the Sonic XD, I think it's called.
Okay, but I've seen like episodes of that, and that's like the extent of what I know about Sonic.
Okay.
But other than that, I really liked the other two movies that came out. But at the end, I was like, it's whatever. I had fun with them, but it's not something I'm like very eager to
rewatch or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, they are really good, like just one-time watch movies. I don't know if I've seen. I will also get into my thoughts and my experience with this. My experience with Sonic as a whole, I always run into weird like experience issues with this, because I can tell you, watching Sonic 2 may be one of the worst theater experiences I've ever had in my life.
What happened?
We got there, and this was when I was still living in San Marcos, when I was going to college. The theater etiquette there had always been bad by the adults, but think about this with kids and adults that already have bad theater etiquette, letting their kids do whatever they want. I could not hear a single thing from the first half of Sonic 2. I couldn't tell you any of the dialogue. So I remember thinking, I was like, I hate this. And I was like, I don't know if I hate the movie or if I hate this.
Yeah.
And you know, in the second one, since if you're watching our review of this, you've probably like already seen the first two. There's no way, right? And I remember thinking, like, I want something to happen for the kids to finally be, like, invested. And, you know, then he goes all, like, Super Saiyan Sonic, basically. And that's when fucking fun.
That was, like, the very end of the movie.
I know. I think, I remember, because I think I went ahead and saw it again. Yeah. And I was like, all right, okay, like at home. Much better experience, by the way. So I unjustly kind of did not like that second one for a long time, but it's because I was like, I don't want anything to be associated with that movie, like with me, ever again. Yeah. And then I remember the after credit scene, though, I saw Shadow. And I was like, all right, okay, they have me. Because I love Shadow. I grew up a kid obsessed with Batman, obsessed with Raph from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Raph?
Raphael.
Oh.
This is very much in that pantheon of character. He's like the brooding guy that's, red.
Black and red.
Yeah.
Good color combo.
The best. I like that they call him Hot Topic in this movie at some point. And he has a great backstory that's really well done in this as well.
I agree.
An awesome theme, that live and learn thing with the electric guitar whenever they finally team up. And I love all of that. But overall with the franchise, I've been fine with it. I can't ever say that the games, I've experienced them. I've played a couple of them. I used to get mad at one of the Sonics on because I couldn't figure out how to play it. I was just shitty. I was bad. Yeah. But overall, the first two I think are good movies. Like genuinely, they're well done.
Especially for video game movies.
Yeah.
It's definitely like this whole franchise we talked about too, where we think that this is definitely a stepping stone, I would say, for other studios that would ever want to make like any type of video game adaptations and taking things from Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, and I think that there's a couple of things you could actually genuinely learn from this. This movie did not bomb. It's doing really well. Yeah. And also,
the last two movies did really well too.
Yeah, and they keep doing better and better. And there's a lesson to be learned here also about the budget, because I think the budget was $120 million.
Dang, really?
And what do you think of this visually? Like what?
It's visually stunning. Yeah. Like even when I was watching this movie, I was like, damn. I was like, this movie does not need to look that good. Yeah. For what it was.
Right when it opens, when it has that cameo from one of the Lonely Island members, and
nice,
which I thought was awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Perfectly tailored to us, honestly.
Yeah. And guys, if Lonely Island, if you hear us, please tour. I need to see you guys.
Please, in the Austin area.
Yeah. Anywhere in Texas, I don't care. We'll drive.
Yeah, anywhere, yeah. But what were your favorite things about this?
In this movie, my favorite things was for sure how it visually looked, but also just they're all hedgehogs, right?
No, one's an echidna, one is a hedgehog, the other's a blue hedgehog, the other is, I don't remember what Tails. Oh, he's a fox.
Okay.
Yeah, Tails is a fox.
So these are all animals.
Yeah.
I like all the animal ones.
Okay. They're all animals.
Okay, I'll say that.
One of them is metal, but he doesn't show up till the
Okay,
end.
yes. But I like all the animals in this movie.
Yeah.
Now they were great. Shadow for sure. I'm like, okay, I can see why people love Shadow.
I love Shadow.
Shadow was amazing in this movie.
Yeah.
And the way he was introduced, the backstory, like you said, like I wasn't really aware of his backstory.
Yeah.
And so whenever it was introduced, I was like, oh my god, like now I care about Shadow.
And they actually follow through with it in this. Yeah. That was one of the things I was apprehensive about. I was like, this is a kid's movie. Are they going to do it? They do it. They did it. Yeah.
And all the action in this movie was also amazing.
I will say, the first moment, there's a motorcycle chase in this that is actually crazy. It's really well done.
It's so good.
And it's the first time I've
ever... Shadow had a gun, I was like, whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah, he does have that. That's a reference to the GameCube cover.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's because I remember I really wanted to play that when I was a kid. Yeah. I never was able to. I've heard mixed things on it. I would still play it just for nostalgia reasons right now.
Why?
Why do I want to play it?
No, why was it mixed?
I actually don't know. I could ask one of my close friends, Darian, who I know is going to be watching this. So shout out to the number one Sonic fan that I know.
We don't do game reviews.
Yeah, so I mean, what's the best Sonic game? I don't know. I've heard the new one's good.
There's a new one?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
That has Shadow in it, which is why I'm going to get it. Because
is it just for the Switch?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's PS5, I think too.
Oh.
Because this is Sega, not just Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
And I love quite a bit about this as well. The action is actually amazing.
Yes.
And that initial motorcycle chase, like we were talking about, it's the first time I ever thought, you know what? I think Sonic's powers are cool. Like the way that they utilize, there's a moment where they reference Akira when
that was
Shadow,
cool.
Yeah. But then he slides off the building. And then it escalates by him like tumbling through the top of the building, and then they like explode. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And I think that there's actually some.
But wait, are we just gonna talk about at the ending of the movie?
Oh,
like around whenever Sonic goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah, I mean, which I'm sure has a name, but
yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah,
but that shit was amazing when they both go Super Saiyan.
Shadow's design, like the inverted colors.
Did that happen in the game?
I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. But that was amazing.
Darian, could you comment, please?
And the way that they were going like across the world, back and forth, that looked amazing. I was like, oh my god, that was so cool.
A lot of that seems so cool. Like the entire idea of them actually utilizing this is very video gamey. There are so many moments where I will admit I'll give a pass on some of the dialogue here because it is for kids at the end of the day. Because there's a line when a general shows up and he's like, Shadow's backstory is just like yours, but different. And I was like, you do not need to get
it makes sense, and that's when you transition. That's when you transition to the next scene.
It's in the trailer. He's like, while you found happiness, he found only suffering. And I was like,
yeah, that's how I feel.
But then I hope that there's a TikTok.
Like us.
Because we were saying that I loved this movie. I will clarify, but some of the dialogue, some of the stuff that we make fun of. There's a moment where Tails is like, his energy levels are off the charts.
Oh,
and.
English Tails.
No, it's just stuff like that where you're like, you did not need to. I'm surprised there wasn't he's right behind me, isn't he moment, which I'm sure is in one of the first.
I guess you could say I guess when they first meet, Shadow and Knuckles.
Oh wait, which part?
I would just say when Knuckles is like, I'm gonna go punch him or something.
Oh,
I don't know what, but
there's a moment kind of like that. But then they start playing a pop punk song. It's awesome. Whenever he's like, this in-flight service was terrible, and then he jumps off, which I thought was cool. And then that's when Shadow's like, you fell out of a gun helicopter.
Keanu Reeves, and this is amazing.
Which I told you I would tell you why he took this role. He felt, and Jim Carrey both felt, which we haven't even touched on him yet, that there's a genuine pathos and emotion behind Shadow. Mm-hmm. And that he was drawn to the fact that he experiences loss, and that's his reason for getting revenge, is something being taken away from him that he cared a lot about, which sounds a lot like Witch character.
Yeah, John Wick.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And
I was really struck by how emotional I think this movie gets, actually.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to get emotional. Because I mentioned that too earlier, where Tom, James Marsden's character, was talking to Sonic about, was it like, not I don't know, what was the... what was the reason? It was like something like not forgetting who you are, or like being good or something.
Yeah, because one of the whole points of this movie, that's another thing I want to say. I like that this has a theme.
Yes.
It's about not letting loss overtake your emotions to act out and be resentful.
Yeah, and like basically changing who you are.
Yeah.
And how it just connected from that conversation with Tom, and how it connected back to where Shadow and Sonic were fighting with one another.
Yeah, and then they apply their... Although I will say, I mean, as much as that's a cool lesson to learn, when he does get the Chaos Emerald and then he does do his whole thing, I mean, it's awesome.
I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah. But in terms of that, what specifically about... I want to ask you like a couple different things, I guess. Like with the positives of the human characters as well, because we haven't talked about him yet.
Oh, yeah.
Who stood out to you in this?
Jim Carrey. Yeah. Always does.
Every single time.
Yeah. Especially in the last other two Sonic movies, he's just been funny.
Yeah.
This one in particular, he definitely had the chance to shine more, I would say.
There's two of him, so...
There's two of them. It was so funny. Anytime they were on screen together, I couldn't stop laughing.
If I were to say 85% of the jokes worked... Mm-hmm. I mean, most of them are from Jim Carrey. The 15% are the ones that are like, when Sonic's like, Konnichiwa, what? And then you're like, I
also like the reference to Detective Pikachu.
I did too, because
then makes me think, can you guys please make a sequel? I want another live action Pokemon movie.
I mean, I titled this what I titled this. I think that there's not a lot of competition, but it's good. Yeah. I think there's a competition for the best video game movie ever made, and that would be Detective Pikachu and this one.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Because, flat out, I want people to realize that these movies are miracles, even in the sense if they were just okay.
Yes.
There's so many different video game things. It's the fact that they also stick to the source material, from what I'm told here. And it gets weird. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff in this movie, and I respect that they went for it.
Well, yeah, because it's not if, like, the audience itself wouldn't understand or nor accept, like, the weird stuff that would happen. Because there's a lot of other franchises and other movies that do the same thing, and people accept it. It's just whether or not the movie itself is convincing.
Yeah.
As well. So
no, because one of the issues you have to deal with is creating a universe and creating kind of acceptance. And one of the stumbles I think people run into, especially now with how cynical movies are made, sometimes is, can we be loving to the thing we're adapting? Can we fully embrace it? And when you really think about it, this is a movie about a bunch of animals that are from space, and they have these insane powers, and the Robotnik dudes are super weird. But they fully embrace everything that the franchise has.
Yes.
The first one, I think, is the only one that doesn't, which is why it makes it the worst one, because they spend so much of that movie with Sonic inside a car, which is kind of weird as a creative choice. Yeah.
Oh, but basically like a buddy cop movie.
Basically, and I actually like James Marsden a lot in these. I kind of forget that he's in them until he shows up, and I'm like, that's right, he's in them.
Yeah.
And him and their dynamic, I like the human characters. It's not something I can say a lot about, like, let's say,
I think the human characters get better each movie.
Maybe it's because they make them goofier each time.
Yeah, I think it's once they were established. I think that's the main thing. In the first one, they had to establish the characters a lot more so.
Yeah.
And then the next couple of ones, you don't really have to do that. You just like expand more of how they are and who they are.
There's
and that's it.
Essentially like a lot of time with them already that they can just be there already.
Yeah, and then you can just focus more on the characters that we actually look forward to, which is the other animal ones. Yeah. So with Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails. And then now the pink girl one.
Oh, Amy.
With the why does she have a human name?
I don't know. What, Sonic, Knuckles, Tails,
Amy.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Yeah. But let me ask you, who's your favorite like on that team? I'm not counting Shadow, but of the three.
Knuckles?
Yeah.
I'll say Knuckles.
I love him. Idris Elba?
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that.
Have you thought about the cast of these movies? It's like...
They get better. They get better each time.
I don't know who Amy's going to be, but it's... What, Scarlett Johansson? I don't know. Yeah. But...
No, there's no way. I was thinking Margot Robbie.
Does she have a... I don't know. Does she have like a distinctive voice?
No, she has a voice.
Yeah. I will say, the first two, I actually thought the weakest links of them was Sonic. I thought that like some of his jokes just kind of fell really flat. Yeah. Nothing against Ben Schwartz, nothing at all.
It's possibly because of the fact that he was just with himself a lot.
That's fair.
So I can see that.
And then in the second one, I think he gets better because he has somebody to play off of. Mm-hmm. And then the third one, I really like him. I really like him in this. I liked him a lot because I think it's interesting because I wasn't anticipating to critique this like as a movie, and I was just gonna. What I went in expecting. Did you have expectations for this?
No,
not really.
I think just I felt the same way with the other two movies, so I just was thinking like, oh, I'll probably feel the same way, but I definitely liked it more when I came out of it, though. Yeah,
I went in expecting a kids movie to be like it's good, and then just not have a whole lot to say. But then what I got out of it, if you stay open-minded to something like this, I mean, yes, of course, it's a big family movie, but I also, like I said, I liked the message. Because we talked about how sometimes kids' movies need a good message. Yeah. And I thought that...
What was the message in the second one?
I don't remember.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen the first two.
Yeah, and I would happily watch them again. I would go see this again. Mm-hmm. I thought that it was a lot of fun. I would be anticipating the third act of this, which is so cool.
So good.
And
I forgot the second one. It's like Mr. Robotnik.
And like a big robot,
Yeah, big robot. And then Super Saiyan Sonic.
Also fighting him, and that's whenever they're like, we had a sworn thing to hide the emerald. I don't remember that.
I don't remember. It was awesome.
What was my critique that I said that has nothing to actually do with the movie? I don't know why Sonic, the restaurant, has never done...
There's a restaurant?
Sonic?
Yeah. Oh, Sonic!
Yeah.
I thought you meant like a Sonic, like this Sonic the Hedgehog restaurant.
That'd be cool.
I was like, whoa, there's a Sonic the Hedgehog restaurant?
Is it not a missed opportunity that they've never done anything with this?
A collaboration and everything?
Yeah, his whole thing is he likes chili dogs. And there are onion rings. It's just a me thing, I think, because then...
No, that's a meme thing.
No, he eats them in the movie, too.
No, okay,
but... It is also a meme.
Okay, well, I don't know. We go talk to the Sonic CEO.
Be like, hey man, what's your problem?
Do you not know about Sonic the Hedgehog?
I'm sure whoever runs Sonic has heard enough about it already.
Yeah, it's like, I'm tired of Sonic.
You're like, stop talking to me. But then we see everything at Alamo Drafthouse. Yeah. And I was surprised that they didn't have like a special menu then either. Yeah.
Now Wicked's still taking over.
Yeah, and I finally had the yellow brick burger because I was really hungry. Yeah. It was not that good. The meat didn't... It wasn't the burger's fault.
I had the Hellfire burger.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that one was pretty good.
Yeah. My issue was that it didn't feel like they cooked the meat all the way through, which is kind of weird. But that's a critique for Alamo, not for this. We haven't touched on this. Do you have any negatives?
My negatives are... I don't know. I think it kind of drags a little bit in the middle, and I think it's just because it takes a while to move from one point to the other. And some of the jokes don't work for me.
Like what? Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Usually it's with Tails. Either Tails, Knuckles, whenever they just say...
Really?
But when they say something where it's like... It's just like a straight point, not really a joke per se.
Yeah.
But it's just like an insult.
Oh, okay.
Of something, like making a reference to something. I'm like,
then you're like, I get that it's probably a reference to what? I don't know.
Yeah.
I am at the level of there are jokes that obviously are for kids, but there's a part where Jim Carrey calls him a dorcupine, and I was like, I was like, it's not supposed to be funny.
But other than that, though, that's like the main thing. It's just hard for me to really grasp like me caring about these movies.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not a big fan of Sonic.
Just initially speaking.
Yeah. But this third one definitely makes me go, wow, I'm kind of excited for the next one.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, okay, I understand like the appeal now of Sonic and why people love this character.
No, the first two are how people sometimes describe themselves about the MCU. They watch them, they like them, they move on.
Yeah.
And that's it. I agree with you. This is the first time I saw one of these, and I was like, I want to look stuff up about what some of these characters are to people.
Like, how can Shadow show up again?
Yeah, I was waiting. I figured that would happen, but I was also like, he better not have died because I love Shadow so much, and if he doesn't show back up again, and then of course that's the after credit scene, which we have talked about after credit scenes not being amazing. They're pretty great here. That first one, what'd you think of it?
Yeah, it was cool. I wanted the werewolf Sonic, but that's fine.
Oh yeah. I don't know anything about that.
I don't know anything. I just remember seeing commercials for the game of just Sonic looking at a moon and just turning into a werewolf. And I'm like, nice.
What I can tell you is that the kids in my audience like busted out in applause in the first credit scene. Like
an 8-year-old knowing what the Oscars are and like going, oh my god. Just standing up clapping.
Me waiting for best visual effects for this movie and best
makeup design.
I will also say no, I agree with that though. I like the joke so much when he's like, it's almost like we're two people playing by the same person in the movie.
And then look,
did they let him do whatever he wanted?
I think so. Dude, he did a great job.
Yeah.
No, he probably knew it was his last movie.
I think Darian messaged me and said that I think that this was Jim Carrey's last performance.
Okay.
Which is why the ending actually kind of hits you.
Yeah.
Because whenever he's like, goodbye, I was wondering, is this his last movie? Is this like going to be the last thing he does? And a lot of people said that with the right script, that he would come back out of retirement because his last thing was Sonic 2 and the Weekend music video. And
okay.
He said that he would not come back for another movie. You know what he came back for? Sonic 3. And some people were like, oh, it's got to be like an Oscar thing. But no, it was this. And
an Oscar performance. I can see it.
I think we said this about the Grinch. He, at all times, no matter where he is, no matter what movie he's in, is giving an Oscar-level performance.
He really does.
And he's doing 2 of them this time. And every joke with him essentially works for me. But that's just because Jim Carrey's Jim Carrey. He can tell you on a line that isn't even that funny.
Yeah.
But it's just the way he either says it or it's the way that he reacts to something that makes it work.
The fact that he was just basically acting with himself.
Yeah.
The entire time this movie made it funny too.
And I think that we were complaining about, what was it? The Grinch again. That anytime it would cut to someone that's not the main character, you'd be like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
But anytime it would focus on Sonic, I'd be like, I'm enjoying this. But anytime it'd focus on Jim Carrey, I'd be like, I'm still enjoying this. And it's cool that they've retained the same villain for 3 movies in a row.
and you didn't get bored. You're like, he's a villain again.
And now he has a grandpa, I guess.
Yeah.
But
and the grandpa's sexist.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I like that. I like all the jokes with him. Yeah. There's a scene in this also where the
dancing sequence.
I was literally about to say.
So good.
That's what I was about to say.
The way I was like.
And I want to touch on more positives. I think that I like specifically want to talk about why I think the action works so well in this. And I thought, again, that initial one is really cool with the motorcycle chase. It's the first one. It's kind of the buildup of the movie. And Shadow's introduction is really cool when he's, again, I think that this is very obviously heavily inspired by Dragon Ball Z. He's in something that looks like the chamber that they use whenever they're healing, and that like
that's
the
what it is in Dragon. I haven't seen Dragon Ball.
Oh, I thought that you had, or at least you'd started it.
I tried, but then I'm like, it's just too many shows and episodes.
Yeah, and I love it.
Jack, who's seen it.
Yeah, I love it, but it is the same thing over and over.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, if you saw the third act of this, you've seen one of the arcs basically. And I think that the other one, again, is I really like how creative it gets with the rings too, which is a Doctor Strange thing basically. But
yeah,
I mean, it is
pretty cool.
Yeah, it does apply here as well. But then I think the third act is awesome. It's another one of the beam in the sky things, but it feels different because it's actually been a few years since we've seen that trope.
Remember? I don't mind certain movie tropes happening.
Yeah,
but it's just like how well it works in the movie on its own. Because like at the end of the day, yes, you can expand more, but also a lot of stories are similar in the same way of like how they utilize certain tropes like that too.
Yeah, and the reason why this works is because of the characters.
Yes.
They are also
character driving the story.
Which is interesting to say about Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Sonic the Hedgehog was hedging in the movie.
Sonic the Hedgehog was edging? Is that something you said?
Sonic was edging the hog.
Oh, he was edging his hog.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's good. That's better.
Yeah, you said it.
You're the one who finished my sentence.
No, the whole point of edging is you don't finish.
Okay, I don't know, dude. Why wouldn't you want to finish? You're like Zoink Scoop. You would want to finish. I don't understand.
Not when you edge. Oh.
I don't want to edge. I don't know about Sonic though.
Does he do that?
It's in his name.
Oh, the Hedgehog? Okay. Oh, the Hedgehog. Overall, what did you think of this?
I liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And, I mean, you've already said it, but would you see another one of these?
I would.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your score?
I would 3.5 out of 5.
3.5 out of 5?
Yeah, I give all the other movies 3.5.
You know what? I think I've gone up half a star each time.
Oh, nice.
3.5. This is a 4-star out of 5-star movie. I thought this was great. I would happily watch this again. If Blu-ray still exists, I would buy it.
Why is physical media dying?
I don't know, but how cool would it be if this came in like a triple feature like thing?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Steelbook, I mean.
And it has to be blue, of course.
Here we are dreaming.
Yeah.
And
then it's like Sonic rolling, but it's him, like, but it's gray, like the steel.
That'd be cool, but then on the back it could be like red or with shadow or something.
Oh yeah.
We're just kind of daydreaming here.
Yeah.
But
we miss Steelbooks.
Yeah. What did you guys think of Sonic the Hedgehog 3?
The point of edging is not to finish.
And that is the point.
Finish the movie.
Yeah, don't just walk out or pause a movie and not finish it. Yeah. That's strange. But Erwin, what's up next?
It's Mufasa,
the Lion King by Barry Jenkins of all people.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. What did you think of Sonic the Hedgehog 3? I'm sure we got a lot wrong, by the way.
Hedgehog.
Yeah. In terms of what we know about lore, if you want to correct us, please tell us. Because actually, like I said, I want to learn more about this franchise now. Credit where credit's due to this movie. But again, thank you guys so much for listening and watching.